Hey guys, today I'm doing another devlog for what is still called The Island, and I haven't done one of these in a while because, well, frankly, I've been quite busy, and I haven't had a ton of time to write code, but I have been writing code in between, in between things, and I've made the 0.4 update, and there have been some pretty, serious changes for various reasons. So the big thing is kind of UI and objectives. So the UI looks relatively similar except for these. So now there's this button, which basically gives you a list of like controls, basically. Obviously one day that will be moved to somewhere more like a real game, but right now it's just easier to have it there, so you can click on it and you can see what's going on, you can see how to move and aim and shoot and things. And the objectives tabs, yes, there is now objectives. Hey, post-production Peter, real quick, I just wanted to make it clearer in the devlog really that this isn't how objectives will look and work in the future exactly, and it definitely won't be in this tab, it'll be kind of much sleeker, but this was just so it could be easier for like testers, and that'll all be mentioned later in the video, but I just want to make this clear. Anyway, back to the video. So you can see we have 3 objectives, and we'll do these in series, and I'll just kind of demonstrate how these sort of work. So I'll follow this red arrow to my first objective, which is this building. I've reached my objective, and then I need to kill the enemies in the building. So if I go through this door, yes, there are now doors as well, so I can walk through and be shot a lot, and then kill that guy. Still haven't updated the the death texture, well, death image. So yeah, that's still my art, which is awful. Yeah, then we can walk through here and okay, and then kill this guy, and then we've done with that, and then we've got the arrow to the next objective. So yeah, that's basically how that works. The doors are still my art, really, and you can see they have these frames, so they look out of place in the wooden walls, which I will fix. Well, when the art gets updated at some point. But I am not the artist. I am working with an artist who is he's doing a lot of things. Like you can see the buildings look slightly nice now. The walls look better. And the ground texture is kind of slightly, it's much better than what I was doing, and it has textured and things. But yeah, and then, I mean, other than that, there's been a few things like grabbing ammo off the floor, so you can see that if I were to kind of walk in here with my shotgun, and then shoot this guy, like that, and then go down here near the shotgun, I'll pick up the ammo. I need to slightly change the hitbox, because you can pick up ammo too far away from the weapon, but yeah, you can see my ammo has now gone up without having to do anything other than that. I can when you drop weapons now, you kind of throw them slightly. So if I do this, it kind of throws it a little bit, and then I can go pick it up, which is slightly nicer. It looks better, and maybe one day I'll get a bit of a spin on there. Maybe it'll hit people. That's quite a big thing in these kind of games right now. So maybe we'll see. And then obviously I mentioned doors. Those are just fairly simple. Doors were quite interesting actually because when I wrote the code for it, I just kind of added the collision to the collision detection system and just wasn't expecting that bullets would affect it, which they do. Sometimes it doesn't quite work because the hitbox is quite small and bullets are traveling quite fast, so I will need to work on that. But you can see it kind of opens when you fire, and the interesting thing about this is the way I check if an enemy can see me, basically, is they fire an invisible kind of non-existent bullet at me, and if it collides with something that isn't me, they don't see me. And that's a very kind of dumb way of doing it. It's almost like a raycast, I guess. But that's just how I'm doing it right now. And because it was using the same code as bullets were using, whenever they would look at me, doors would open, and I was like, "Why is this happening?" I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm stupid." But yeah, those are the really big changes, because this is more orientated towards someone else being able to play the game who isn't me, because obviously I can play it because I know it, but because now there's objectives and arrows pointing places, other people can play the game, because I'm thinking of taking on some testers quite early so that I can make sure there are no bugs all the time, basically, because once there's a bug and you're like, I'll fix that later, it doesn't quite sort of ever get fixed sometimes. So I thought maybe that would be good, and I'll talk about that more at the end of the video. And there have been a few changes kind of behind the scenes. I've slightly reworked how how enemies hear sounds, so eventually I'll be able to kind of muffle sounds with walls and things. I'll just kind of standardize that. There is now the ability to change screen resolution, which is quite good. Another kind of user-oriented thing, because obviously I can always just set it to my screen resolution. Well, I actually always run it in a window, so now it's currently running in 1776 by 1000, because that's how I run most of my games actually, so I can easily get it out of the screen. Yeah, and there's a nice thing that you can change because obviously on smaller screens you won't be able to see as much. You can press Shift now, and you can actually see further. That's a feature I think is in Hotline Miami actually, which I think is a really great feature. And yeah, so that's quite useful. It's pretty janky right now. It's just kind of moves the camera a bit. But yeah, one day there'll be like a nice slow pan over to it, and it'll, well, not too slow, but you know, it'll look nicer. But right now it is just functional and works quite well, and you can still shoot and things. And then yeah, there's a slight improvements to things like enemy AI. Now they when they do the thing at the end of a path, often they kind of wander around and look around just to make it look a little more realistic. And now they didn't used to be able to see you while doing that, but now they can, because it was just a very quick little, oh yeah, need to change this number in the state machine. And then also they don't get stuck on walls as frequently. I think there's one situation in which they do, which I need to look into. But yeah, before they were always getting stuck on walls, and now they don't. That was just a problem with pathfinding. Basically, the way I do walls, I just put them kind of, it's an adjacency matrix, effectively, if you know what that is, and basically that wasn't quite validated yet. So yeah, that is pretty much all of the updates. I mean, there are a few nice little texture things, like you can see the flamethrower now has a nice texture. You can see it on the ground. Now I pick it up, it's nice. The forgot the walls burned. But yeah, the rocket launcher is still using the flamethrower texture, because we haven't made a flamethrower texture yet. But at some point we will, and that'll be good. Then other things, I think that's most of the texture updates. I'm sure there have been a few, and I'm doing a terrible job to Ruth Akiri, the artist I am working with. But yeah. So I'm just going to play through this mission, I guess. I start with a pistol, a rocket launcher, and a shotgun, because that's a little overpowered, but fine. So yeah, we'll just follow this arrow to the objective, and we can just go right in. The arrow's still pointing that way. I think it may have auto set to the next, I need to look into that. But yeah, so I'm at the objective. You can see it's gone green when I reach the objective, and I just need to kill the enemy. So I'll wait for that guy to walk away and shoot this guy with a shotgun. And then I'll burst through this door and shoot him with a shotgun. There we go. And you can see all of this is going green, and I've completed this objective. And then I'll just go grab some more ammo for my shotgun, because that's good. Reload it. There is a reloading sound, but I need to change it slightly, because no matter how many shells you're putting in, it always does 8. So I'm going to pick up the assault rifle nicely, and yeah, the flamethrower. I enjoy the flamethrower, and we'll switch out a pistol for a grenade. Yeah, and then we've got to move on to building 2. It seems to be pointing to the 3rd objective. That's interesting. I will look into that, and probably shouldn't have put that in the devlog, but it's early access, guys. Yeah, so if I kick open this door and throw a grenade in there, that'll kill a bunch of them, which is just great. And then I'll just go in here and murder these guys. He is behind a wall, so I'll rocket launcher this guy. Oh, okay, they've all heard this, and I'll hide behind this door, and then I'll burst through the door, and boom, and then oh shit. You'd think I'd be better at my own game, and then oh, you're dead, and you are dead. Oh shit, no, you're not. Oh, that's real bad. I'll flamethrower you. Ah, flames of death. Yeah, okay, so that's that, and now I just need to get to the extraction point, my beautiful extraction point I drew, and the game is won. The text is slightly off the screen because that's made for 1080p, and I'm not playing in 1080p. But yes, that is basically all of the features. I don't know why I said the game is won. I thought it sounded much nicer to me than you win, really. So yeah, those are the real big updates, and there will be more frequent updates in future, because I do really want to be playing along with this, and it has been a while since I've done a devlog and since I've done a huge amount of development, but I do very much enjoy it, and I do have more time now back at university. So yeah, I'm thinking this is going to be great, but there are a few things I want to talk about. Firstly, about what the game really is, because I get a lot of emails that are really good about features I might do, and a lot of them are very good, and some of them I think I do put in. I think the flamethrower was actually some guy suggested that I put the flamethrower in, and some guy, yeah, he suggested that I put the flamethrower in, it could burn down walls, and that was fantastic. A lot of features that people send me, I'm like, yes, that's great. I never would have thought of that for some reason, and yeah, but I also get a lot of things about kind of gameplay features, which would be good in other games, but I don't think this game is about it. Like the idea that you could kind of level up and have this sort of almost RPG type mechanics. But the point of this game is that it's kind of just this soldier who has been dropped on an island who has to use his own skills to escape the island and perform these tasks in a kind of military way, I guess. And he's scared and he's not all powerful, and I think that's kind of what I kind of want in the game, really. And I think maybe at some point there will be kind of maybe pick-upable buffs and things, or maybe I'll kind of try and work it in with, just like better armor so that you are stronger and that sort of thing, and almost kind of temporary things like better armor and a slightly better gun for a while, but you can't find any ammo for it and things. And yeah, so I just thought I'd say that because I haven't talked a lot about what the game really is, and I feel like people are spending a while, coming up with these suggestions, and I thought I'd just kind of give you more of a insight. But yeah, so that was very brief. And then the other thing I want to talk about is I mentioned earlier about testers and why I made this version so kind of user orientated. If the arrow worked better. Well, that's because I'd like to take on testers right now, actually. I know it's very early days, but the next update is going to be quite big. And I would like to just be ironing out bugs now. And I know a few of them, and I should be fixing them, and I will. And oh my god, I don't care, Cortana. Cortana's popped up being like, hi, I'm Cortana. I'm like, shut the fuck up. Anyway, just got the Windows update. But anyway, yeah, so basically, I'm probably just like 5 to 10 people would be more than enough. So if you are interested in just kind of, I don't know, maybe spending a couple of hours every now and again, not even in a block, just like maybe like half an hour every now and again, just kind of playing this, and finding bugs, and I will make the level more extensive, so it's a little more fun and a little more kind of, it gives you more time to find bugs. Because this is obviously very short, just for the point of this video. But yeah, and then obviously you would find a bug and maybe note it down, and if you can recreate it, kind of somewhat explain it as best possible. And you don't feel like you have to be super technical to do this. I mean, it's pretty much just saying, yeah, this happened when I did this, and I'll be like, oh, yeah, that's probably because of this, and I'll fix it. So that would be incredibly helpful, and it would just be a lot of fun. And you would get to play this game all the way through its kind of development cycle, which may be interesting, may be really boring, but I think it could be. I think it would just be very helpful to me, and I would love to have some. So yeah, anyway, I've rambled about that enough, so you can just basically email me at gamingwithtape@gmail.com, probably in the description or on the info page of my channel, or just remember gamingwithtape@gmail.com, and then yeah, just I don't exactly know what you put in the email. I've been trying to think about this, but I guess just basically be like, yeah, I'd like to test stuff, and I guess it would. And then I guess after you email me, I'll come up with some kind of sample thing, maybe just to kind of see how you deal with the bugs. Obviously, I need someone who's the people who kind of just would explain it relatively well, not just like the crate was weird or the rope was weird. Just like, yeah, this I can't think of a great example, but maybe like a good example is something that occurs relatively frequently that I am working on is occasionally when you'll flick through. That's not the right thing. That's the right thing. When you flick through a wall, sometimes you'll go too fast. Usually it works fine, but sometimes you'll kind of speed up weirdly. And it usually occurs when you collide while sliding. And someone could be like, "Oh, well, it appears that when I collide with the rope, I have a weird velocity or something like that." And you kind of get the point. But I guess we'll talk about it more in emails. But again, just email me if you're interested, and maybe we'll talk about it. And yeah, maybe you could test the game a little. And obviously, if you were doing that sort of thing and the game does come out fully, you would get a free copy. Because come on, I mean, if you help with the development, then you get a free copy. So anyway, yeah, that is the end of the devlog. I'd like to keep it under 15 minutes this time. And I hope you've enjoyed this, and I hope you are potentially interested in a little bit of testing. And yeah, I know this wasn't the biggest update, and I know it took ages, but I have been busy. And the next update will be very interesting. It's going to be more working on the actual, how the island will go together. Yeah, so objectives, UIs, open doors, throwing weapons, change screen resolution, be a tester, Next update may be quicker/bigger. I'll see you next time.